Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It's Monday. I'm Peter Martin, delighted to have your company. We'll be looking back over the Scottish Cup fixtures at the weekend and looking ahead to European football too. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson are with me here in the studio, and here's what we're going to be talking about. Yeah, lots to get our teeth into. We start off with quite a sad story, and my heart and best wishes go out to Laura Montgomery and Kat Linder's family because the former Glasgow City player passed away over the weekend at just the age of 39. Really is an absolute tragedy, and our thoughts go to her family and of course Laura, who was her partner. She joined Glasgow City in 2005, Ruffy, and won every domestic honour, so really it's just gut-wrenching news for the women's game.
Yeah, it certainly is. Obviously very well liked in the women's game, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people, once they've heard the story, will be very saddened by it. You know, it's horrible for anybody to lose their life so early, but she was so well liked to everybody in the women's football.
Yeah, absolutely, and most of her teammates were mentioning the qualities that she had as a footballer as well, but won all the honours and of course scored more than a few goals, over 100 goals for Glasgow City in her spell in the Orange Strip. Our thoughts, condolences and best wishes to her family and friends. To the football that's taken place over the weekend in the Scottish Cup, more than a few games that we can get our teeth into, and of course Ruffy, you'll be a happy man because the Jags are into the next round. It was a crazy game. I've never witnessed a wind like it.
Yeah, I think there's at some stage you have to draw the line, you know, and it was borderline with the wind at the weekend. It spoiled the game for both sides. There was no football played at all, you know, it was just trying to weather the conditions, and we were fortunate enough to get a goal, you know, and puts us in the hat.
Yep, here's how Partick Thistle fit into all the results over the weekend in this round of fixtures. Partick Thistle defeating East Fife. Hibs triumph over Wraith Rovers, and Dundee United edge it against St Mirren. Kilmarnock and Rangers will have to do it again next week. Celtic convincing winners over St Johnstone. Hearts seeing off Auchinleck Talbot, and Aberdeen in the end, Stephen Dobie and all, managed to see off Queen of the South. Ross County against Inverness Cally Thistle is the game this evening. Here's a quick roundup of it all from Gabriel Antoniazzi, our reporter.
6 of the 8 quarter-final spots for this year's Scottish Cup have been filled, with a Highland derby between Ross County and Inverness Caledonian Thistle taking place tonight before the draw for the next round. On Saturday evening, Kilmarnock drew 0-0 in a stalemate with Rangers, the only other tie yet to produce a winner. Alan Power's challenge on Ryan Jack could have earned him a red card, but it remains to be seen if the compliance officer will review it. Sam Cosgrove made it 14 goals in 13 games with a brace in Aberdeen's 4-1 win over Queen of the South, and Hearts ended junior side Auchinleck Talbot's cup dream with a 4-0 hammering. Elsewhere, Hibs eased past Wraith Rovers 3-1 in Eddie May's last game in charge. Partick Thistle knocked out East Fife 1-0, and St Mirren's miserable season continued, with Dundee beating them 2-1 in Paisley. And Celtic made it 7 wins out of 7 since the winter break, beating St Johnstone 5-0. Scott Sinclair scoring a hat-trick, and Scott Brown was on the score sheet for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, you know things are going well when Scott Brown chips in with a goal, especially from 30 yards. Of the games yesterday, Celtic convincing against St Johnstone, no problems. And again, Scott Sinclair just coming to the boil at the right time, Ruffy.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I have to say, a lot of people were beginning to write him off there. He had a fantastic start when he came up to Celtic for a couple of years. And then for a wee season, he went off the boil a wee bit. And a lot of people were trying to say, oh, he's unsettled, he wants to go back down to England. But he's certainly got his form back now. and always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
Yep, and I have a feeling that every time some of the members of the media write off Scott Brown, he must pin it up on his own wall in the house, Barry, because he storms back. I mean, in the last few weeks, he really has been the linchpin for Celtic once again, the captain that all the fans, have cherished, and he pops up with an absolute screamer.
Yep, he took a lot of criticism after the Old Firm game, and rightly so, because he wasn't on his game that day, but he's went away and got the rest, and obviously done a lot of fitness work when they were out in Dubai, and it's shown that he's come back into good form, and as you say, he scored an absolute cracker on Saturday.
Yep, and as far as the other fixtures that have taken place on this Sunday, Hearts in the end, Ruffy, no real problems with Auchinleck Talbot. I know they are keen to be back involved in the Scottish Cup again, but if anything, Hearts are looking at and saying to themselves, we want to be in the mix. This could be an omen. We managed to see off Auchinleck the last time around. We could be winning the Cup this year.
Yeah, I think everybody at Hearts will know on the day. They'll be a very, very strong side and very, very difficult to beat, particularly at home. I think they got the goal early enough at the weekend there to sort of relax everybody, and they obviously run out very good winners, but all credit to Auchinleck. They've been absolutely sensational this year.
Yep, and they still have a quarter-final tie to look forward to, and it's going to be an absolute cracker against Pollock. Now, Barry, as far as Hearts are concerned, a wee worrying story in the Edinburgh papers today. Yep. Birmingham City looking at Stevie Naismith and Arnaud Jim. Obviously, they'll be free agents in the summer. They can choose where they want to go. That is one of those stories where I'm not doubting that Birmingham City are in there, but it's a classic agent, let's crank it up and get a better deal out of the club we're playing for at the moment.
Yep, regarding Nazy, I think Nazy, it looks to me if he's enjoying his football back up here. I think he's been great since he's come up to Hearts, and look, he's at an age where he wants to be playing week in, week out. Does he really want to move a family away again? That's a lot of things he'll need to weigh up himself, but for me he looks a happy guy just now, and he's a real talisman at Hearts. He's a main man. So I'm sure Hearts will be desperate to get something sorted out for next season for him. Yeah,
I can see him playing on for another 2-3 years, Ruffy. I think he's easily a man, and I think he's a man of his word as well. I think he will sign a long-term deal at Hearts.
Yeah, again, it's up to the individual, and he's been down in England, he's done it. I don't think the financial side of it is going to make up his mind for him at this stage of his career. Barry's already touched on it could be a family thing now, and we're led to believe that his family do love being up here, and that might just sway it.
OK, I'm going to talk about a man who's in red-hot form, certainly one of the top strikers in the country at the moment. Sam Cosgrove, 14 goals in the last 13 games, roughly 16 for the season. And usually, Stephen Dobie would get all the headlines with that strike up at Pittodrie, but Aberdeen in the end ran out 4-1 winners.
Yeah, they did. Obviously, when Dobie scored, it was one each, and that
some goal, wasn't it?
It was fantastic, but I mean, he's not frightened to shoot for anywhere. That's his main strength, and 9 times out of 10, if it hits the target, it usually hits the back of the net. And that would have been a wee bit of encouragement that the Queen of the South would have sort of held on to, but at the end, I think Aberdeen just had too much class.
Yeah, I mean, there were times when I watched Sam Cosgrove and I thought to myself, it just looks like a big cart horse at times in the early part of the season. But, what we don't tend to take into consideration with managers is managers, and you'll know this yourself, they work tirelessly with the players to make them better players, to try and educate them on things that they can do in a game that can influence the game, and he seems to have grasped it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a slow burner for Sam Cosgrove at first, and I'm the same as you. I was watching him and he was struggling a bit, but you could see there was something in there. And obviously Derek McInnes, as you say, has been on the training pitch and worked with him day in, day out. And once he kind of broke that duck and got a few goals, he's just flying just now. I was really impressed with him against Rangers last week. I know he's a big guy, he wins a lot of headers, but technically he's good. He can hold the ball in, he can take a touch and pass it, and now he's doing what all centre forwards need to do, and that's score goals, and he's a real main threat for Aberdeen.
Just one little footnote to this before we head to the break, which is Stephen Dobie. If ever a man is a lesson to any footballer who just decides to knuckle down with their talent and work hard at their talent, he's one of them. 38 for the season. If he doesn't win, I think he's in the running for the overall player of the year, Barry.
100%, that's 38 goals this season. Now, I was with Dobes at Blackpool, and when he got freed for Hibs, I think that kind of made him stand up and take notice to go away and obviously work hard at his game, and he done that, and he was a very, very fit player when he was down at Blackpool, and he's had a great career. But to me, he just looks as if he's loving life at Queen of the South. He's loved there, and the team play around about him, and I mean his goals speak for the on their own. I mean his 38 goals is amazing, and if he's not in the running for Player of the Year, well, I'll be surprised.
Yep, absolutely. We're certainly, well, I'll put all the money on. They two can't bet. We'll be back after this quick break. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson are with me here in the studio. We've discussed Sunday's games on Saturday. In the end, that late kick-off is going to have to be played. Again, they couldn't separate Kilmarnock and Rangers, although, as ever, there's always something to talk about in it. Stephen Gerrard looking for Kelly's Alan Power to be sent off. He wants consistency. The kick on Ryan Jack, clearly. You only have to look at what's gone on before. Every kick, every stamp is being analysed now. Yeah,
regarding Power's challenge, look, it's one of the ones that I honestly think he's meant to go in and hurt Ryan Jack. Honestly don't. I think a booking was enough. I know it looked a bit of a nasty challenge, but for me, I don't think he's went in there to try and boot him in the face. So I think a yellow card was sufficient for me.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's back to Ryan Jack, you know, and his boot was up there. I don't think he could have taken it away. It was just one of these things that happen, and it's a shame. I just don't mean Stephen Gerrard, but I wish managers would just pack it in, you know, because we all know that no two challenges are the same. They're different circumstances, and the people that are analysing them have to analyse them the way they see them. You know?
Well, I was going to say, I think Jim Duffy has a good column in The Sun today, just mentioning the fact that we need to actually take a step back here. It's almost now we're looking week in, week out for this retrospective ban, and we're making an issue of it. We're slaughtering referees. I watched the rugby at the weekend, Ruffy, and again, it's an age-old argument, but I think managers and players, again, if it takes another summit, need to actually sit down and show a bit more respect on situations. And we're guilty of it because we ask them the questions. But I think there needs to be an element of towing the line now. We're almost looking for bans to be handed out every week.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the managers have all been to the meeting with the referees, and they've all agreed that the referees have a hard job and it's very, very difficult, so let's try and help them. But as soon as the game finishes, the first thing they do is the media. They respond to the media. And
you're the media as well, Ruffy. Don't
but I'm not asking questions.
Yeah.
I'm not asking the questions to get the answers that they want.
Yeah.
You know, but I've said on numerous occasions, I mean, Barry's in that position now. I've never been a manager who's just had a game taken away from me, and then all of a sudden somebody throws a mic in front of me and went, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
And you're automatic. You're only human. You are going to say how you feel at that precise moment in time.
But the point is, Stephen Gerrard is saying, he's not, I mean, he probably agrees with everything you two guys have mentioned there. What he's saying is, listen, if there's going to be a witch hunt on one of my players for a kick, then there has to be consistency. If he's kicking and he's kicking, you know, it's the same thing.
He's obviously going to stick up for the players. You know what I mean? He's wanting the same. He's gone back to what's happened up at Pittodrie with Morelos. But you've got to remember, it's a physical game. Things happen. I mean, I watched it 3 or 4 times. Honestly, don't think he's went in to hurt him. Yeah. He's went to try and get the ball.
What about the consistency issue?
Yeah, I get his point, but I'll keep going back to it. It's a difficult situation referees are in.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to understand that these guys have got a split second to go and make that decision.
Okay, what about the situation of the game overall? In the end, it wasn't a great game to watch. Morelos not on the side, Rangers not getting those crucial goals. He scored 6, I think, in the last 7. He's got 23 for the season. I mean, he's also in there with, you know, Player of the Year. I think he will be mentioned in there. But Stephen Gerrard says they have to learn to cope when he's not in the team. Yeah,
he's a massive miss. I thought Rangers were solid enough defensively. I thought they looked a lot better. Obviously, no mistakes for what happened previous down at Kilmarnock. But for me, he's a massive miss, Morelos. I don't care what anybody says. He is the main man for Rangers. And they need to find a solution if he's out suspended, and that's whether Defoe needs to step in and start scoring goals, Kyle Lafferty. But he is Rangers' main player and he's badly missed.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the McGregor situation with Darnell Johnson of Hibs as well will be sorted out tomorrow with the possible retrospective ban there. What did you make of your old team Hibs, Ruffy? 3-1 in the end. It looks as if Michael Appleton will come in. Is he inheriting a good side?
He's inheriting a team that he'll have to get the confidence back. Okay, they won at the weekend there, but they just seem to be all over the place at the moment. They don't have that settled team that they had. Obviously, Boyle's out, who was a massive player for them at the beginning of the season. I don't think they're that far away. I don't think it's a whole, change in the whole system. But sometimes a new manager can come in, brings a breath of fresh air, and if the players buy into what he's saying, then they'll get back on the rails.
Yeah, and as if to pick up on the point we're talking about with the referees, I noticed at the weekend Robbie Nielsen slaughtered Willie Collum. He thought Paul McGinn should have been sent off, but he's facing a retrospective ban anyway for that elbow in Dundee United's Cammy Smith. I don't think he's got a leg to stand on with this one. I think he'll probably end up with a couple of matches of a ban, but I don't think it was any great surprise Dundee United knocking St Mirren out.
No, not in the form that St Mirren's on, and Dundee United have really strengthened in the window. You can see the quality of players they've brought in, and I think the St Mirren manager was right that they were underdogs, because Dundee United are a much more bigger side than St Mirren, and you've seen the support that Dundee United had at that game. I don't think St Mirren could have done that. Yeah,
I'm looking at it, but Barry, his form's not great. He's not getting a response out of these players. I mean, do they just say, well, Oren Kearney has to be allowed next season in the Championship to build his own side?
Well, they never gave Alan Stubbs a lot of time. It's a difficult one. It'll be a frustrating one for the St Mirren fans. Obviously, they had a great season last year. I watched a lot of their games. I was really impressed, and obviously losing the manager to Sunderland was a big loss for him. But he's got a hell of a job in his hands. I know he's brought in a few players now, so this is his team. He's been allowed to go out and bring in a lot of new faces. So they'll need to start winning games or they're going to struggle this season.
Yep. Okay, one tie that we didn't talk about was the Highland Derby. It'll be taking place tonight. Who do you fancy, Ruffy, Ross County or Inverness?
I think it's home advantage for me.
Yep.
We obviously played Inverness a couple of weeks ago. They didn't play particularly well, not as well as what they did the last time we played them. But as we all know, the Highland Derby, it'll be a feisty game, and sometimes players can get involved in it. Some players getting sent off, and it can sway the game either way. But for me, I would go for Ross County at home.
Yeah, on form, you've got to go with Ross County.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you are. Usually he expands on that, but he didn't. So we'll now look to the European football just before we finish, because we're back to Champions League and Europa League, and I think Europa League gets tasty this week, Ruffy, but let's have a look at the Champions League. Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, Roma, Porto, Ajax, Real Madrid, Tottenham against Borussia Dortmund. Dare I say it to you, Ruffy, could this be the season? I mean, it's wide open with the teams that are there at the moment. Could this be the season Man City should be hoping to emerge as Champions League winners?
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. If we look at the usual two, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're up and down. We're not getting fed all the great stories we hear about their good players, although Ronaldo has scored a few goals again, 21 goals or something like that so far. They've got quality individuals, but as teams, I don't think they're as strong as what they were, and you can see the results that they're getting in their own divisions. So yeah, everybody's saying Man City, that's what they're buying these players for, to win the Champions League.
Scalp Chelsea. I mean, it's not often you scalp Chelsea by 6. They're playing football from another planet for me.
I know, they've got to look and think this is a real chance for them this season. I mean, I watched parts of the game yesterday and they looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
They've got some great players, so they're in with a chance, but I'll stick with who I went with at the start.
Who did you go for?
Juventus.
Yes, I'm with you on that. I
Who
want
did
for
Ruffy go
Juventus.
for again?
Atletico.
Alright.
Yeah, you've got no chance. Okay, what about the Europa League, Ruffy? We're going to talk about it in greater detail as the week progresses. There's a list out, I always like a wee list, that says Celtic are the 11th club with the most revenue in the last 32 of the Europa League. They're ahead of their opponents, Valencia. It doesn't always work out from finances on paper to performances on the park, but Brendan Rodgers got a wee bit of confidence. He'll be hoping Ollie Burke is in there because he looks as if he's coming to the boil as well.
Yeah, look, you can't take anything away from Celtic in domestic football. They are, on their day, unstoppable, and we saw that, But going into Europe is a different altogether. They're better players they're going to come up against. They haven't done particularly well, obviously, in the Champions League. They're now in the Europa. I think it'll be a big test, really big test. I know Valencia aren't the team they were, but they'll certainly come, and it'll be a different test of what they get in domestic football.
Yeah, okay. We will undoubtedly get Barry and Ruffy's thoughts on Wednesday ahead of that Thursday night fixture. Don't forget you can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can actually give us your thoughts on Facebook and Twitter as well. Who do you think's got their name on the Scottish Cup? We'll be back to domestic issues as well to talk about this week on the programme. 6 o'clock on social media and 10 o'clock on That's TV. From Ruffy, Barry and myself, thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.